When I used to go around Tamil Nadu, I've been to a few places. I used to ask people their names, and what they used to reply me with was a single name. And it used to perplex me that they are referring to their names as just one name without no caste. So it used to perplex me a lot because in North, our caste is very important. It is a part of our identity. Our surname is very important to us around here. But in Tamil Nadu, the people used to give me just one name. Secondly, when we talk about the social welfare policies in Tamil Nadu, that it is a welfare state based on social upliftment of its people, there comes a why. The why comes as why is it a social welfare state? It became independent with the rest of India. India gained independence together. It was Madras presidency at that time. It was one of the poorest parts of India. Then how come these people have developed to such an extent that they have become social welfare state? The answer to all these questions lies in some steps. And these steps start with the Tamil Renaissance movement, then the pure Tamil movement. Then there was a religious movement also. So friends, we will talk about this. My name is Amit. Vanakkam, namaskaram to all of you. I welcome you all to my YouTube channel, Layman History and Geopolitics. So friends, it was like that in the 19th century or 20th century. Social and religious reform movements were taking place all over India. Be it north, east, west, south, they were taking place everywhere. But in on a pan-India basis, what was actually the prime feature of these movements were that they were religious in nature. Secondly, they were elitist most of the time. And thirdly, they were not very much entrenched in the masses. They could not reach or emancipate the masses on such large scale. And they were not secular, they were religious on a big scale. So when we talk about Tamil Nadu, Vaikunta Swami and the great revered Vellalar Ramalingam Swami, when they started a movement, they reached the masses. Most importantly, the non-Brahmin classes in the Tamil Nadu region. And when social justice, the Justice Party came in 1916, it was formed. It realized that only the religious reform cannot pave the way for the upliftment of the people. So what it propagated was that we have to start taking part in the political process. As a whole, the whole society has to become a partner in this political process. So they wanted to fight elections, they wanted to win elections. So from a religious perspective, that was propagated by Vaikunta Swami and great Vellalar Ramalingam Swami. Thus, they started moving towards political participation of the marginalized classes. One thing to remember around here is that in the very beginning, Justice Party was not anti-Brahmin. It was non-Brahmin. Barring the earlier leaders of the Justice Party, Mr. Nair, if I only recall, if I remember correctly, he was an atheist, but other members of his party, the leaders of his Justice Party, they thoroughly believed in the local customs. And when Periyar came to this party, he realized that political movement and reservations alone could not pave the way for the social upliftment of people. It can only happen if a change is brought in the attitude of these people. So when we talk about Russian Revolution, we talk about French Revolution, what they propagated were the ideas of political freedom, fraternity, liberty. But this particular movement in Tamil Nadu propagated the dignity of man. Why dignity? Because owing to our class hierarchies in India, the Varnashram, we needed to develop an identity in ourselves, dignity in ourselves. That was very important at that time. So when we view this movement today, if we recall it, in most of the public eye, people would say that it was an anti-God movement, it was an anti-North movement. But this movement was in fact based on manam, that is honor. Periyar educated that if a person doesn't have self-respect, he doesn't have dignity, he won't be able to develop his individuality. And if there is no individuality, what is the purpose of being there, being alive? So, in this very movement, the center of attention, the center of revolution was a human being, a man or a woman. They had to transform themselves on their own basis without the help of anyone other from outside. Such was the beauty of this movement. It was a movement against the hierarchical discrepancies which existed in our society, which led to caste oppression and gender inequality. So Periyar wanted to actually destroy the hegemony of the Brahmins in the political, social, and religious life. He wanted people to have a rational approach, leave away these superstitions which actually empower these social hierarchies and make an unjust society. He wanted people to think, be rational. And how the people responded, let's see around here. See, the followers of self-respect movement, first of all, started donning, the men started donning black shirts, the ladies started donning black saris. And it was a sign of uproar against the Brahmin hegemony. Remember, in those times, the people from the marginalized classes could not even wear thundu on their shoulders. And these people were protesting against these class inequalities, wearing black saris and black shirts. Justice Party in 1921 had taken some steps, and some of these steps were like they had given a communal government order in which they paved the way for the representation of marginalized classes and oppressed classes in government jobs and educational institutions. That was a big leap ahead. And Periyar added to it. When Gandhiji talked about changes, bringing reform in Hinduism and Varnashram Dharma, and Nehru talked about that political freedom should be achieved, Periyar was of a view that these alone could not suffice because they could not they could not inculcate self-respect in the people. So what is the use of this political freedom if people don't have self-respect? He said every person should view every subject on the basis of logic and reason. If on the basis of logic and reason, if a person views a subject, thinks about it, feels the truth, he should go forward. Such was the view of the self-respect movement. And the most important thing was that it inculcated a Dravidian identity in South India. It was against the homogeneous rule, the oppression of the North Indian classes, which was basically being spread all around in the political sphere, religious sphere, and even the cultural sphere. We all know that most of the political leaders of that era were from the North. South leaders were being sidelined. So it was like, even if we talk about Congress, in Congress at that time, Periyar had to leave Congress in 1925 just due to the issue of proportional representation. The Congress would not agree to proportional representation at that time. So what he did was that he used to bring his non-Brahmin cooks and Dalit cooks for these events, and the leaders coming from the north, they used to bring in their own cooks, Brahmin cooks, to cook food for them. Such was caste discrimination at that time. Just think just think about the discrimination. A Brahmin, when goes to answer the call of the nature, he tucks the sacred thread around his ears. He believes it saves it from getting polluted, and then he goes, takes bath, and then dons his sacred thread. At that time, if a person from a lower caste would go to speak to a Brahmin, seek audience with him, the Brahmin used to tuck the thread in his ears. Was this justified? They thought that talking to a non-Brahmin would pollute them. And then when these people face so much, when they used to speak in front of the Brahmin, they had to cover their mouth so that their waves would not pollute the Brahmin. Such caste discrepancy was prevalent in our society. Someone had to rise up, and the person was Periyar. He advocated social justice. He advocated self-respect. He even dropped his surname. in 1927, if I am right, in Kodiyarasu, the publication, that means the Republic actually, he dropped his surname to promote secularism and equality between the Tamil masses. So this is the very reason when I went to Tamil Nadu, I don't find people taking their surnames. They just have a single name. Then he propagated gender equality. He said that the women should have rights over their lives. They should have the right to marry the person of their choice, divorce the person, and remarry if they want. Women should have choice over their reproductive rights, and they should be allowed contraceptives and even permanent measures of birth control. Such a beautiful idea. And then he said that in a family, when both men and women are there as a unit, they should take the house chores together, and the child rearing should also be done together as a measure of service to the society and their love. He propagated widow remarriage. See, in those times, child marriages were very common. Widowhood was very common at that time, because diseases were very high, and when the diseases were very high, the people used to die a lot. So the young girls were widowed on in large numbers. So he advocated widow remarriage. And all these measures, what happened was that all sections of the society, basically the women, started thronging to the self-respect movement. Be it Devdasis, he was against Devdasi system also, be it Devdasis, doctors, teachers, former prostitutes, laborers, all women from all sections of the society started joining this movement, and it became a mass movement in Tamil Nadu. What this also did was that the segregation in the public spaces, due to this movement, the segregation in public spaces, in railway stations, in public canteens, in transport was nullified. It was removed. Justice Party leaders warned the transporters that their licenses would be revoked if they continued this discrimination of caste. They also reformed college admissions and gave admissions to non-Brahmins. With the Hindu Religious and Charitable Endowment Act of 1925, the temple management rights were taken away from upper castes. In October 1947, the Devdasi system was abolished. And in 1968, the one more thing I would like to talk about here, I missed it, I'm really sorry. Periyar advocated self-respect marriages. Why self-respect marriages? Because according to him, when a person marries someone, it leads to unusual burden in the form of dowry. And secondly, the system of marriage is being officiated by a Brahmin, and that too in Sanskrit. So a person doesn't understand that language, and just out of practice, just coming from centuries along, he's blindly following the system, which is of no use. He even said that Thali and Potu were mentioned in Thirukural. So what he advocated was self-respect marriages, intercaste marriages, and in 1968, Tamil Nadu became the first state when DMK government came to power. Anna passed this law that self-respect marriages were legalized. So this was the very first state where you could marry without the presence of a Brahmin. The tying of thali was optional. Such was the huge impact of this movement on the mindset of people. And what this movement did basically is, actually it gave rights to the underprivileged people in Tamil Nadu, basically in the rural areas. They became stakeholders in this process, and that's the very reason that Tamil Nadu has progressed. While in North, you see that the downtrodden people in the rural areas, the big landlords or the big caste hold sway till now, but it doesn't happen in Tamil Nadu. And most importantly, this movement forced the Dravidian identity. A common Dravidian identity, and it fought against the cultural and political homogenization of the North. It actually strengthened federalism by advocating for regional autonomy and opposing the dominance of elite caste groups based from the north or even in the south. Such was the beauty of this movement. And entire nation needs to learn from this movement how to actually assimilate people, how to leave these superstitions behind, bring people together, inculcate self-respect in them. This movement took form some 100 years ago, and it is relevant even today. We to learn from it. If we are able to learn from it and actually spread this movement in northern India, wonders will happen. When people will have a sense of self-respect, just think in this era, what is there that they cannot accomplish? Marvels will be done. So friends, this was all from me. I hope you liked my video. And if you did, kindly like, subscribe and share my YouTube channel, Layman History and Geopolitics. And if you want, you can also become a member of this channel. The charges are very low. All my memberships are in Tamil. I mentioned in Tamil names. So kindly please like, subscribe, share and join my channel. That was all from me. My name is Amit. Vanakkam, namaskaram to all of you. Thank you.